The desert was quiet tonight, too quiet, as though it knew that something within my chest was breaking. The moon hung heavy, its silver light spilling across the dunes, and I thought of her, my beloved, my anchor, my wife. She is not here beside me, yet I feel her presence everywhere. Every grain of sand whispers her name, every gust of wind carries the echo of her voice. The falcon circles above me, its cry sharp and lonely, reminding me of my own soul, soaring, searching, yearning for a home that only her embrace can give. I remember her tears, shining like jewels in the starlight, falling not from weakness, but from the burden of love, too vast for words. Each tear was a desert river, brief yet eternal, washing over the silence between us. I whispered then, I will not let your tears fall unseen. I will gather them, carry them, and make them part of me. So when the desert forgets, I will remember. The stallion stamped its hooves, as though it too felt the weight of her absence. It longed to ride, to chase the horizon, to seek the place where her sorrow dissolved into laughter. And I longed to ride with it, to find her beneath the same endless sky. I closed my eyes and saw her face, not broken, not fragile, but luminous. Her strength humbles me, her gentleness disarms me, and yet, behind her smile, I see the shadow of pain. It cuts me deeper than any blade. I speak into the night. My love, your tears are not weakness, they are prayers, and I will answer them. They are rivers, and I will follow them. They are stars, and I will never lose their light. The desert listens, the stars hold witness, the falcon cries once more, and I am a man, kneeling in the sand, offering my heart to the woman who makes even sorrow beautiful. The night deepened, its silence heavier than stone. Every star seemed to tremble, as though it too wept, with the memory of her sorrow. The desert stretched endless before me, yet it felt smaller than the distance between her heart and mine. I remembered the moment her tears fell onto my hand. They were warm, fragile, and yet they carried a strength that words could never hold. It was as if her soul was speaking in liquid light, telling me truths too sacred for sound. I whispered to myself, no warrior fears the battlefield, no falcon fears the storm, but I fear the sight of her tears, for they cut deeper than arrows, and heal slower than wounds. The stallion stirred restlessly, its muscles tight beneath the saddle. It sensed my unrest, it shared my ache. Even the desert wind, usually so indifferent, wrapped around me like a cloak, carrying the faint fragrance of her hair, the distant echo of her sighs. I raised my eyes to the vast desert sky, where the moon hung pale and distant, and I prayed, not to be spared pain, not for strength alone, but for the power to take her sorrows into me, to drink her tears like rain, so she would never cry alone again. The falcon cried once more, its wings glinting in silver light, and I thought, love is not only joy, not only laughter, it is also the sacred burden of holding her tears, carrying her storms, and standing firm when the desert winds howl. I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of her absence, and spoke into the night. My beloved, the desert may take kingdoms, the sky may swallow stars, but I will never let your tears be forgotten. Each drop will live in me, as eternal as this sky. The wind answered with silence, but the silence was holy, for in that silence I knew she had heard me. The sun had not yet risen, but the horizon whispered light. Even the faint glow could not compete with the radiance in her eyes, eyes that had known sorrow, and yet refused to dim. Her hands, once trembling, now rested in mine. I traced each line, each curve, as if reading a scripture, written in the language of her heart. Every touch was a promise, every sigh a covenant, every tear a prayer, that the desert itself seemed to keep sacred. I spoke into the quiet. My love, your sorrow is a river, and I am its shore. I will hold it, I will guide it, and I will never let it flood beyond the walls of your heart. The stallion moved beneath us, softly, patiently, as though sensing the weight of the words between us. Its eyes, dark and knowing, reflected my own determination, to shield her, to protect her, to carry her through storms, as if they were nothing but passing shadows. Above, the falcon soared higher, its wings slicing the silent sky. It reminded me that even in freedom, love requires vigilance. It is not possession, it is guardianship, watching over the one you cannot bear to see hurt. I remembered her tears, from nights past, small rivers of silver, that had traced her cheeks. How could such fragile drops
contain so much strength? How could sorrow be so beautiful, so demanding of respect? And yet I knew that her tears were also trust. She gave me the most sacred gift, her pain, her vulnerability, and I would guard it with every breath in my lungs. For love is not measured by joy alone, but by the courage to carry another's storms without faltering. The desert wind rose, softly shaking the dunes, whispering 1,000 secrets. I pressed my lips to her forehead and promised, no tear of yours will fall unseen, no sorrow unshared. You are my heart, and your pain is mine as well. Her eyes closed, and in that silence, I understood fully, love is not only presence, it is endurance. It is not only warmth, it is shelter. It is not only light, it is the courage to hold someone's shadows as tenderly as their soul. The morning light crept softly over the dunes, spilling gold across the sand, yet it could not touch the depth of her sorrow. Her eyes, still heavy with unshed tears, held stories that the desert could never forget. I reached for her hand, and she let it rest in mine. Her skin was warm, yet trembling, as if holding a storm beneath its surface. I whispered gently, my love, every tear is sacred, every sigh is a prayer. I will carry them with me, even across the endless desert. The stallion shifted beneath us, its muscles coiled, ready to take flight, and yet waiting patiently, as though it understood that some journeys cannot be rushed. Even the wind stilled, leaning closer to hear the language of her heart. She spoke then, her voice barely audible. Even the night feels heavy, even the stars seem silent. I am afraid that my tears will drown everything we have built together. I drew her closer, pressing my forehead to hers. My beloved, your tears are rivers that nourish our love. They are not to fear, but to honor. They carve valleys of trust. They water the seeds of devotion in our hearts. Without them, we would not survive. With them we are eternal. The falcon above us swept in graceful circles, its shadow flickering across the rippling dunes. I imagined it carrying her whispers across the sky, guarding them, as I had promised to guard her heart. Every grain of sand seemed alive, bearing witness to the sacred weight of what she gave me. Not only her love, but her fragility, her trust, her soul. And I knew in that moment that love is not light. It is responsibility. It is vigilance. It is courage to hold another's storms without letting them break you. I whispered to her once more, your sorrow is mine. Your tears are mine. I will carry them through desert, storm and sky. As long as I breathe, your heart will find sanctuary within mine. The wind rose gently, whispering through the dunes, and I felt the desert itself, leaning in to listen, bearing witness to the covenant, written in tears, in trust, and in love. The sun rose higher, spilling fire across the dunes, yet her sorrow remained like a shadow that refused to fade. Her hands trembled slightly, as she held mine, and in that trembling, I saw courage, fragile but unbroken. I spoke softly, letting the words carry the weight of my heart. My beloved, these tears are not weakness. They are the proof that your soul feels deeply, that love has rooted itself so profoundly within you. The desert wind swirled around us, lifting grains of sand, like tiny sparks of light. Even nature seemed to pause, listening to the language of her heart, that I had vowed to guard forever. She looked at me, her eyes reflecting both pain and hope, and whispered, I am afraid that someday, my tears will overwhelm you, that my sorrow is too heavy for your love. I drew her closer, my forehead pressed to hers. Your sorrow is not heavy, it is sacred. Every tear is a jewel that I will keep inside my chest. I will carry them through night and day, through storm and sun, for they are part of you, and you are my eternity. The falcon soared above, its wings glinting gold in the morning light. I thought of its freedom, its strength, and realized that our love is like it, bold, untamed, yet guided by devotion. The stallion pawed the sand, restless yet patient, mirroring my own heart, ready to move mountains to ease her sorrow, to chase away shadows, to carry her through every trial of life. She leaned against me, her body trembling slightly, and I whispered once more, no tear of yours will ever fall alone. Every sorrow you bear will live in me. Every whisper of pain will find sanctuary in the fortress of my heart. The desert around us held its breath. The wind stilled, and for a fleeting moment, I felt eternity itself pause to witness the covenant of our hearts, written in trust, sealed in tears, and carried by love.
The desert stretched endlessly, golden waves folding into one another. Yet even this vastness felt small against the weight of her sorrow. Her hands rested lightly in mine, and I traced the path of every vein, every line, as if reading the map of her heart. Every tremor of her fingers spoke of storms endured, of battles fought quietly, of tears shed in secret. I whispered softly, letting my words carry the warmth that her own heart needed. My beloved, your tears are not burdens. They are rivers of devotion, rivers that nourish our souls, that carve deep valleys of trust, that make our love eternal. The falcon circled above us, its shadow slicing the dunes like a blade of silver light. Even the wild birds seemed to recognize the sacredness of her tears. Love is not light, it is vigilance, it is courage, it is sheltering another's storms without complaint. She turned her gaze toward me, her eyes reflecting dawn's glow, and whispered, I am afraid that my sorrow will one day break you, that my tears are too much to hold. I pressed my lips to her forehead, feeling the warmth of her skin, and spoke with quiet conviction, My love, I am made of your sorrow, as I am made of your joy. Your tears are my own, and I will carry them through desert, storm and sky. Even if the world crumbles, I will not falter, for you are my eternity. The stallion shifted beneath us, its muscles coiling like spring, ready to move, ready to protect, ready to bear us to the ends of the earth. And I felt its strength echoing my own promise, to never let her pain go unanswered, to never let her feel alone. The desert wind rose, whispering through the dunes, and I imagined it carrying our covenant across the world. Her whispers, her tears, her entire being, entwined with mine, becoming eternal in the silence, in the light, in the heartbeat of this endless desert. The sun climbed higher, its light spilling like molten gold across the endless dunes. Yet her sorrow lingered, a delicate shadow against the brilliance of day. I held her hand firmly, feeling the tremor beneath her skin. Every small quiver spoke of storms weathered alone, of nights spent in quiet pain, of the tears she had hidden from the world. I whispered to her, softly, as if the wind itself might carry my words to her heart. My beloved, these tears are not weakness. They are sacred rivers, flowing into the reservoir of our love. I will gather each one, carry them with me, and let them nourish the roots of our eternity. The falcon circled above, its shadow gliding over the shifting sands. I thought of its freedom, its power, its ability to rise above storms. So too must love rise, even when grief threatens to drown it, even when sorrow weighs heavy on tender hearts. She turned toward me, eyes reflecting the blazing horizon, and whispered with a tremor, I fear my tears will one day break the bonds we've fought to build, that my sorrow is too great a weight for your love. I pressed my forehead to hers, my lips brushing her temple, and answered with solemnity, No burden is too great for the devotion I carry. Your tears are mine, your pain is mine, your soul is mine to protect. Even the fiercest storm cannot tear us apart, for love this sacred is eternal, unyielding, divine. The stallion shifted beneath us, its powerful chest rising and falling, in time with our hearts. I felt its strength, its readiness to defend, its patience mirrored my own, to guard her heart, to bear her sorrow, to never let her cry alone. The desert wind swirled, lifting grains of sand like tiny sparks, and I imagined it carrying our whispers, our vows, our shared burdens, across mountains, rivers and seas. Her tears were no longer just hers, they were immortal, etched into the sky, woven into the fabric of eternity itself. I whispered again, You are my dawn, and my twilight, my every horizon, my eternal prayer. No sorrow will dim you, no tear will fall unnoticed, for I am here, always, forever, by your side. The desert breathed softly, its golden waves rippling under the morning sun. Yet even in this vastness, her sorrow cast a shadow, delicate, yet undeniable, stretching across every grain of sand. I held her hand, fingers entwined as if we could merge our hearts into one. Every tremor of her touch spoke of battles fought silently, of tears shed in secret, of nights when hope seemed just beyond reach. I spoke, voice low and steady, My beloved, your tears are not burdens, they are sacred rivers, rivers that carve the landscape of our love. I will carry them, let them flow within me, so that you may never feel alone again. Above us, the falcon circled, its wings slicing the sky, free and vigilant. I watched it soar, thinking of our love, untamed, eternal, tested by storms, yet rising again, with every sunrise. She turned toward me, her eyes shimmering with both pain and hope. I fear, she whispered, that my tears will break us, that my sorrow is too heavy to bear. I pressed my forehead to hers, breathing in the warmth of her being. No tear of yours will ever fall in vain. I am the keeper of your sorrow, the guardian of your heart. Even the fiercest storm cannot undo what we have built, for love this sacred is eternal, unyielding, divine.
The stallion shifted beneath us, its chest heaving, muscles coiled. I felt its strength, its patience, its readiness to protect, mirroring the promise I carried for her soul. The wind rose, lifting grains of sand, whispering secrets through the desert. I imagined it carrying our vows, our whispers, our sacred bond, across valleys, mountains, seas, making her tears eternal, woven into the fabric of the sky, as sacred as the stars. I whispered again, words heavy with devotion. You are my dawn, my twilight, my endless horizon, my eternal prayer. No sorrow will dim you, no tear will fall unseen, for I am here, always, forever, by your side. And the desert listened, bearing witness to our love, our tears, our eternal covenant, etched in the sand, in the sky, in the heartbeat of eternity itself. The desert stretched endlessly, its golden dunes kissed by the sun, yet her sorrow remained, like a silent shadow, trailing each step we took. I held her hand tightly, feeling the subtle tremor of her heart, each beat a testament to the storms she had endured, to the tears that had fallen silently in the dark corners of night. I whispered, my voice merging with the desert wind, my beloved, your tears are sacred rivers. They are not weights, but streams that nourish the roots of our love. I will carry each one, guard them in my heart, and let them flow into eternity itself. The falcon circled above, its wings catching the light, gliding effortlessly through the sky. I watched and understood. Our love is like the falcon, strong, free, untamed, yet guided by devotion, by loyalty, by a bond deeper than sight. She looked at me, her eyes glistening, and whispered softly, I am afraid that my tears might break you, that my sorrow is too heavy for your love. I pressed my forehead to hers, breathing her in, feeling the warmth of her soul, and spoke solemnly, no sorrow of yours can ever weaken me. Your tears are my strength, your pain my purpose, your heart my eternal home. Even the fiercest storm cannot undo the love we have carved into the sands of time. The stallion shifted beneath us, muscles coiling like a spring, ready to move, ready to protect, mirroring the promise I held for her soul, to shelter her, to guard her, to never let her cry alone. The desert wind rose, carrying grains of sand like whispers, and I imagined it spreading our covenant, our love, our sacred bond to the corners of the earth. Her tears, her whispers, her every fragile heartbeat, became eternal, etched into the sky, woven into the fabric of eternity itself. I whispered again, my voice steady, unwavering, you are my dawn, my twilight, my endless horizon, my eternal prayer. No sorrow will dim you, no tear will fall unseen, for I am here, always, forever, by your side. And the desert listened, bearing witness to our love, our tears, our eternal covenant, etched in sand, etched in sky, etched in the heartbeat of eternity itself. The sun climbed higher, casting long shadows across the golden dunes, yet her sorrow lingered, a delicate echo in the vast emptiness around us. I held her hand, feeling the tremor beneath her skin. Every quiver spoke of nights spent alone, of tears shed in silence, of battles fought within, that the world could never see. I whispered into the desert wind, my beloved, your tears are not weights. They are sacred rivers, carving deep valleys of trust, feeding the roots of our love. I will carry them with me, let them flow through me, so you will never cry alone again. The falcon circled above, its wings cutting through the air, like silver knives of light. It reminded me that love is both freedom and guardianship, to soar yet protect, to endure yet cherish. She looked into my eyes, her own glistening with quiet fear. I am afraid my tears will overwhelm you, that my sorrow is too heavy for your love. I pressed my forehead to hers, breathing in the warmth of her being, and spoke with certainty, no tear of yours will ever fall unseen, the guardian of your soul. Even the fiercest storm cannot break the bond we have forged in trust, in love and in eternity. The stallion shifted beneath us, its chest rising and falling in rhythm with our hearts. Its strength mirrored my own, patience, vigilance, devotion, the promise to protect her from every shadow that dared cross her path. The desert wind rose, lifting grains of sand like sparks of flame. I imagined it carrying our whispered vows, across valleys, mountains, seas, making her tears eternal, woven into the sky, etched into the heartbeat of the world itself. I whispered once more, you are my dawn, my twilight, my endless horizon, my eternal prayer. No sorrow will dim you, no tear will fall unnoticed, for I am here, always, forever, by your side. And the desert watched, bearing witness to our love, our sacred tears, our eternal covenant, written in sand, etched in sky, echoed in the heartbeat of eternity itself.